Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A basis for comparison. A reference point against which other things can be evaluated. The schools comply with federal standards. Any distinctive flag. Conforming to the established language usage of educated native speakers. Standard English. The ideal in terms of which something can be judged. They live by the standards of their community. The value behind the money in a monetary system. Regularly and widely used or sold. A standard size. A board measure equals 1980 board feet. An upright pole or beam, especially one used as a support. Distance was marked by standards every mile. Commonly used or supplied. Standard procedure. Conforming to or constituting a standard of measurement or value, or of the usual or regularized or accepted kind. Windows of standard width. Established or well-known or widely recognized as a model of authority or excellence. A standard reference work. A basis for comparison. A reference point against which other things can be evaluated. The ideal in terms of which something can be judged. A statute in draft before it becomes law. How much there is or how many there are of something that you can quantify. A basis for comparison. A reference point against which other things can be evaluated. They set the measure for all subsequent work. Any maneuver made as part of progress toward a goal. The situation called for strong measures. Determine the measurements of something or somebody, take measurements of. The act or process of assigning numbers to phenomena according to a rule. The measurements were carefully done. Express as a number or measure or quantity. Prosody. The accent in a metrical foot of verse. Measuring instrument having a sequence of marks at regular intervals, used as a reference in making measurements. Musical notation for a repeating pattern of musical beats. Evaluate or estimate the nature, quality, ability, extent, or significance of. A container of some standard capacity that is used to obtain fixed amounts of a substance. Have certain dimensions. This table surfaces measures 20 inches by 36 inches. A basis for comparison. A reference point against which other things can be evaluated. Any distinctive flag. A newspaper headline that runs across the full page. Long strip of cloth or paper used for decoration or advertising. Unusually good, outstanding. A banner year for the company. Conforming to the established language usage of educated native speakers. Received Standard English is sometimes called the King's English. Widely accepted as true or worthy. A received moral idea. The value behind the money in a monetary system. The handle of a handgun or the butt end of a rifle or shotgun are part of the support of a machine gun or artillery gun. The rifle had been fitted with a special stock. The merchandise that a shop has on hand. Persistent thickened stem of a herbaceous perennial plant. Any of several Old World plants cultivated for their brightly colored flowers. Repeated too often. Overfamiliar through overuse. A stock answer. Put forth and grow sprouts or shoots. The descendants of one individual. Any of various ornamental flowering plants of the genus Malcolmia. A special variety of domesticated animals within a species. Have on hand. A supply of something available for future use. Any animals kept for use or profit. A certificate documenting the shareholder's ownership in the corporation. The value of his stocks doubled during the past year. Amass so as to keep for future use or sale or for a particular occasion or use. Let's stock coffee as long as prices are low. Regularly and widely used or sold. A stock item. Liquid in which meat and vegetables are simmered, used as a basis for e.g. soups or sauces. She made gravy with a base of beef stock. An ornamental white cravat. A plant or stem onto which a graft is made, especially a plant grown specifically to provide the root part of grafted plants. Equip with a stock. Stock a rifle. Lumber used in the construction of something. They will cut round stock to 1-inch diameter. Provide or furnish with a stock of something. Stock the larder with meat. Routine. A stock answer. Supply with fish. Stock a lake. Supply with livestock. Stock a farm. The capital raised by a corporation through the issue of shares entitling holders to an ownership interest, equity. He owns a controlling share of the company's stock. The handle end of some implements or tools. He grabbed the cue by the stalk. The reputation and popularity a person has. His stock was so high he could have been elected mayor. Meeting requirements. Adequate for the purpose. The water was acceptable for drinking. Judged to be in conformity with approved usage. Acceptable English usage. Worthy of acceptance or satisfactory. Acceptable levels of radiation. Of or pertaining to or characteristic of the ancient Greeks and Romans, especially their art, literature, or culture. Classical mythology. Of or relating to the first significant period of a civilization, culture, area of study, etc. Classical Marxism. Well-known and long established in form or style. A classical ballet. Traditional genre of music conforming to an established form and appealing to critical interest and developed musical taste. Of or relating to music in the European tradition, such as symphonies and operas. Classical music. Of or relating to the languages used by ancient standard authors. Classical Greek. Physics. Relating to or based on concepts that preceded the theories of relativity and quantum mechanics. Of or relating to the study of the literary works of ancient Greece and Rome. A classical scholar. Often used as intensifiers. A regular morass of details. Relating to a person who does something regularly. A regular customer. Occurring at fixed intervals. A regular beat. Symmetrically arranged. Regular features. A regular patron. Not constipated. A dependable follower, especially in party politics. He is one of the party regulars. A garment size for persons of average height and weight. A soldier in the regular army. Conforming to a standard or pattern. Following the regular procedure of the legislature. In accordance with fixed order or procedure or principle. His regular calls on his customers. In accord with regular practice or procedure. Took his regular morning walk. Not deviating from what is normal. Her regular bedtime. Officially full-time. Regular students. Regularly scheduled for fixed times. At a regular meeting of the PTA. Used of the military, belonging to or engaged in by legitimate army forces. The regular army. Of solids, having clear dimensions that can be measured. Volume can be determined with a suitable geometric formula. A piece of open land for recreational use in an urban area. Common to or shared by two or more parties. A common friend. Being or characteristic of or appropriate to everyday language. Common parlance. Commonly encountered. A common, or familiar, complaint. Lacking refinement or cultivation or taste. Behavior that branded him as common. Of or associated with the great masses of people. The common people in those days suffered greatly. Of low or inferior quality or value. Produced the common cloths used by the poorer population. Belonging to or participated in by a community as a whole, public. For the common good. Having no special distinction or quality. Widely known or commonly encountered, average or ordinary or usual. The common man. To be expected, standard. Common decency. Constructed with standardized units or dimensions allowing flexibility and variety in use. Modular furniture. Brought into conformity with a standard. Standardized education. Capable of replacing or changing places with something else, permitting mutual substitution without loss of function or suitability. Brought into conformity with a standard. Capable of replacing or changing places with something else, permitting mutual substitution without loss of function or suitability. The act of controlling or directing according to rule. Fiscal regulations are in the hands of politicians. A principle or condition that customarily governs behavior. Short haircuts were the regulation. The act of bringing to uniformity, making regular. An authoritative rule. Embryology. The ability of an early embryo to continue normal development after its structure has been somehow damaged or altered. Prescribed by or according to regulation. Regulation army equipment. The state of being controlled or governed. According to or characteristic of a casebook or textbook, typical. A textbook example. A book prepared for use in schools or colleges. His economics textbook is in its 10th edition. Having authority or ascendancy or influence. The captain's authoritative manner. Of recognized authority or excellence. Sanctioned by established authority. An authoritative communique. Reduced to the simplest and most significant form possible without loss of generality. A basic storyline. Serving as a base or starting point. A basic course in Russian. Usually in the plural, a necessary commodity for which demand is constant. A popular programming language that is relatively easy to learn. An acronym for beginners' all-purpose symbolic instruction code, no longer in general use. Of or denoting or of the nature of or containing a base. Pertaining to or constituting a base or basis. A basic fact. Conforming to orthodox or recognized rules. The drinking of cocktails was as canonical a rite as the mixing. Reduced to the simplest and most significant form possible without loss of generality. A canonical syllable pattern. Of or relating to or required by canon law. Appearing in a biblical canon. A canonical book of the Christian New Testament. Conforming to orthodox or recognized rules. The drinking of cocktails was as canonical a rite as the mixing. Reduced to the simplest and most significant form possible without loss of generality. A canonical syllable pattern. Of or relating to or required by canon law. Appearing in a biblical canon. A canonical book of the Christian New Testament. According to or characteristic of a casebook or textbook, typical. A casebook schizophrenic. A book in which detailed written records of a case are kept and which are a source of information for subsequent work. Serving as a basis for evaluation. Serving as a basis for evaluation. Of recognized authority or excellence. The definitive work on Greece. Supplying or being a final or conclusive settlement. A definitive verdict. Clearly defined or formulated. Something regarded as a normative example. Being approximately average or within certain limits in e.g. intelligence and development. A perfectly normal child. Conforming with or constituting a norm or standard or level or type or social norm, not abnormal. Serve wine at normal room temperature. Forming a right angle. In accordance with scientific laws. Of or pertaining to or characteristic of Judaism. Of or relating to or characteristic of the Eastern Orthodox Church. Adhering to what is commonly accepted. An orthodox view of the world. A system of related measures that facilitates the quantification of some particular characteristic. The rhythmic arrangement of syllables. A function of a topological space that gives, for any 2 points in the space, a value equal to the distance between them. A decimal unit of measurement of the metric system, based on meters and kilograms and seconds. Convert all the measurements to metric units. Based on the meter as a standard of measurement. The metric system. A system of related measures that facilitates the quantification of some particular characteristic. A rectangular piece of fabric used as a signaling device. Become less intense. Stratified stone that splits into pieces suitable as paving stones. Flagpole used to mark the position of the hole on a golf green. A listing printed in all issues of a newspaper or magazine, usually on the editorial page, that gives the name of the publication and the names of the editorial staff, etc. plants with sword-shaped leaves and erect stalks bearing bright-colored flowers composed of 3 petals and 3 drooping sepals. Droop, sink, or settle from or as if from pressure or loss of tautness. A conspicuously marked or shaped tail. Communicate or signal with a flag. Decorate with flags. The building was flagged for the holiday. Emblem, usually consisting of a rectangular piece of cloth of distinctive design. Provide with a flag. Of or relating to the philosophical doctrine of the reality of ideas. Model of excellence or perfection of a kind, one having no equal. Conforming to an ultimate standard of perfection or excellence, embodying an ideal. Constituting or existing only in the form of an idea or mental image or conception. A poem or essay may be typical of its period in idea or ideal content. The idea of something that is perfect, something that one hopes to attain.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.